Hey guys, this video is for our 2nd through 4th grade leaders for August, week 2. So our theme for August is the hunt. Wisdom is worth searching for, and our life app for the month is wisdom, finding out what you should do and doing it. So last week we learned about Jesus growing in wisdom, and our bottom line was, if you want to be wise, search for wisdom. This week we are reading from the book of Proverbs, and the story is about wise people seeing danger, and our bottom line is, if you want to be wise, look before you leap. And then our memory verse for this month is, if any of you needs wisdom, you should ask God for it. He will give it to you. James 1:5. So heading into our leader guide, first of all, just please make sure that the weeks that you are leading as a small group leader, it's so important to arrive at 8:30 and 10:30. We are really going to start making a conscious effort to get together and huddle up at 8:30 and 10:30 to pray for our morning, pray for our kids. And this week specifically, just ask God to help kids see the need for using self-control in a wise way, and just to start to develop a discernment for things that could be dangerous or unwise, especially as they're heading into a new school year with peer pressure and just into middle school age in general. So then at 9 and 11, when service starts, as kids join your circle, ask about their week. I think just about all of our kids will be starting school next week, so ask them about who their new teacher is, who's in their class, are they looking forward to it. Make sure any new students feel welcome. And then you're just going to teach kids how to play leapfrog. So you can pull up a video of leapfrog on YouTube. I will try to remember to include one in my email. And then if they lose interest, just challenge them to find creative ways to leap or kind of crouch like a frog. And while they play or after they're finished, you could be asking them, in the past week, what wise choices have you made, and how and why did you make those choices? See if they can come up with anything. That's kind of as kids are walking in. So then when service starts at 9 and 11, on the bottom of your carts, you have a baggie of plastic jumping frogs. There's one for first service and one for second service. So what you're going to do is you're going to give each kid a jumping frog, and you're just going to give them a minute to play with the frogs, and then just play a few games to see whose frog can jump the farthest or the highest, race frogs across your space. Play a tournament with the above games, play leapfrog with the jumping frogs, just kind of play with the frogs, and they get to take those home. Now you might want to take them back and give it back to them at the end of service so that they're not playing with it the whole time, but they do get to keep those. And you'll just close by saying, so I'm sure by this point you guys are wondering why we're doing all these frog games, and you probably know it has something to do with today's Bible story, but I'm not going to tell you what that is yet. So then you'll just head down to large group. In large group, just make sure, even if you've got some older boys and they don't want to dance, just sing with them, worship with them, be goofy with them, help them to maybe just have some fun down there during worship, and then just help them to listen and engage in the story for the day. When you get back from large group, you're going to do a game called Leap to the End. So also in the bottom of your cart, you have two sets of baggies. You have one that has some wisdom things and then tells you to leap forward certain spaces, and one where they have to tell you about certain choices that they've made. So what you're going to do, you're going to have a life-size game board. So in this room, I just made one game board. You can kind of see it on the floor down there. So it might be the boys play the game first while the girls do their memory verse activity and pray, and then you switch it up. So there's only one game board, so they start here and then they would work their way around and finish there. And so what you do is you use the game cards to play, and then the kids leap the appropriate amount of spaces, and if there's somebody in the way, they're going to leapfrog over them. So I think I split these into two bags, but I think you're going to take the two bags out, and you're going to mix these cards together. I think they're just two separate pieces of paper, but I think they can all go together. And so then you'll play the game. And to close it out, you'll say, so guys, if you want to be wise, you've got to look before you leap. And sometimes that means literally using your eyeballs to look in front of you, like crossing the street or jumping off playground equipment. But other times it just means to think about where you're going before you go there. Think about what the consequences are going to be. Like if you turn in a paper with sloppy handwriting, are you going to get a worse grade than if you redo it well? If your friend's shirt doesn't match and you say something about it, are you going to feel bad? So just thinking ahead of time. And this week, take some time to think about the things that you do and say before you do them and decide, is this a wise choice? Then for the memory verse review, what you're going to do is you're going to have kids sit in a circle on the floor with your Bibles and their little jumping frogs. And you're going to have them look up the memory verse, James 1:5. Say it out loud together. You can practice it with emotions. And then you're going to lay the Bible. You can have kids. You're not going to have enough for the kids to do this all at the same time. Have them take turns laying the Bible in their laps. Or just have those memory verse cards, those magnet cards out. And choose one kid to say the first word of the verse and then make his frog jump. And then quickly determine which kid the frog is looking at. And that person will say the next word and then make their frog jump. And you're just going to kind of keep going. Wherever the frog lands, that's the kid that says the next word. And then you'll just keep repeating it. And you'll close it by saying, so if you want to be wise, you've got to look before you leap. And God will always give you wisdom no matter what the situation is. If you're faced with a situation that you don't think is quite right, if you think you're about to make a wrong decision, take a minute to look. Ask God for help. Think about verses from the Bible, what you know to be true, and look to maybe wiser people to help you. You know, sometimes you make unwise choices because everybody else is doing it, but just because other people are doing it doesn't mean it's something you should do. You should still look before you leap. So then you've got some optional small group discussion questions. So maybe you could say, you know, I'm going to ask you one of these questions and then say, okay, whoever's frog leaps the furthest, I'm going to ask you a question. Or just have them use their frogs, but then ask some of these questions maybe if you've got some downtime. And then to close in prayer, they'll need their jumping frog again. You're going to have them sit in a circle with their frog and have them make their frog jump all at the same time, but have them keep an eye on which one is theirs. And they should look at the person their frog is looking at then and pray for their person. So God, help Lola to look before she leaps. And then have them collect their frog and do it again and just do it several times. And then you can just finish with this prayer down here. And you'll close by saying, so guys, I want you to take your frog home with you and let it be a reminder to not only look before you leap, but also continue to pray for the other people in our small group. And just remember, if you want to be wise, look before you leap. So as parents come, have their kids tell them what their little jumping frogs are for, how they're connected to wisdom. And please, 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 please make sure that you pass out parent cue cards and memory verse cards if kids haven't had them yet, okay? Thank you guys so much for serving. It's going to be a great Sunday here at Oak Bridge Kids, and I'll see you then.